Be careful. You might learn something.
Let's go.
You are now tuned in to the Factual Opinions Podcast with your host. I am Pharaoh. Straight facts.
What it be, world? Factual Opinions Podcast, back in the place to be. This is season 4, episode 16. We're calling it Talkin Smack because we got a lot of that to do and a lot of things to talk about. It's your gracious and humble host, I am Pharaoh, checking in with the Brown, Bruce Wayne, Big John.
Yes, sir.
Will West, the best, Nate.
You know it.
And locally, I want to say shout out to my alma mater. How about them Jaguars starting off with a 46-16 pasting of Norwood High School in an opening week?
Great win for him. Great win.
Best thing about being 1-0 is the opportunity to go 2-0. So, yes, fellas, lock in. Me and Big John will be there on Saturday at 3 p.m. For anybody locally here in Cincinnati. Head down to William Stargell Stadium downtown, the beautiful Cincinnati Public Schools facility, and watch Schroeder take on Deer Park on Saturday. So before we get into everything else that's going on, I know I talked to you fellas about Coach Prime versus the media.
Right.
Now, you know, I'm biased and I'll admit it. He always has and always will be my favorite football player of all time, my favorite athlete, one of the few that I looked up to that ain't fell from grace yet.
Right.
So there was a columnist, and I won't dignify him by saying his name, that's been banned by the University of Colorado and Coach Prime from covering events, from, attending, asking questions. A lot of people have had opinions, like Paul Feinbaum and other journalists and stuff. And, this is my field too. So while I may not have as much experience, and credentials as people like Stephen A. and Paul Feinbaum who have, tuned in and had their comments on this, what I want to say is there's a difference between you critiquing my team or saying that I have not won enough, or what's the progression from, year 1 to year 2, blah, 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 and you taking personal attacks at me. I don't have to take personal attacks just because I'm a coach of a university.
Those are facts.
And that's all Prime Time is saying. Some of the things that Shannon Sharp alluded to and brought out, this guy was saying is, he was calling Deion a false prophet. This is what he's writing. And while I will say you can write that as a columnist, because as a columnist, you're paid for your opinion. You're not a reporter who just has to be objective. You can get your opinion, but there's still a line that you don't cross. He was calling him a false prophet and the king of BS and all of this other stuff, and just making it real personal. I won't go into some of the other things that he was, saying, but typical hate on Deion, and not that Deion isn't used to that, because he's Prime, and there's a lot that goes along with that word Prime Time. But, what do you all think? I know you all didn't have a chance to look at it as much as me. Do you think it's excessive for the University of Colorado to officially ban this one reporter just because he disagrees or has a alternative point of view?
I mean, coming up to the season, when you week to week, you got to get your players ready and this and that. You don't need that anyway. So I actually think it was probably for the best. And like you said, being a coach, if you want to talk about the X's and O's, you want to talk about the quality of player I'm putting on the field, you want to talk about my game plan, but attacking my personal life and my character is different. Like you said, I don't have to take that as a man. I don't have to put my children around that play for my team. I don't have to put the guys, our coaches around it, or my coaches around it, or my family around it, or the university around it for that matter that supports me. So yeah, I feel like it was the right thing to do.
Because Nate, the big point that Stephen A. Smith made was he was trying to say that he was speaking of Deion, was acting small and he was acting like a bully by singling this one guy out. Even Molly on First Take had a different from it. He said,
I did catch that. Yeah, Molly.
Yes,
definitely.
I think Coach Prime is putting him on blast for his negativity and wants to highlight what he's doing. What do you think?
Yeah, so the negativity is the biggest problem. Like That's the big thing that's going on in media, social media, everything. It ain't a positive. Him calling him out is not. There's nothing wrong with that. I felt like this was perfect. This is probably gonna set an example for future broadcast news analysts, all the people involved with the newspaper, the writers, and all those type of people. I feel like this is gonna be something key due to the fact that it's like, hold on, bro. You're not gonna disrespect me as a man. You're not gonna disrespect me as a father or a coach. You're not gonna do that. So him standing his ground is a perfect example of taking power back from media. To be honest.
What about and you all know I agree, but just to play devil's advocate, what about those people that are saying freedom of the press? And
but here's the thing. Like you said, I'm sorry, because like you said, as a columnist, he's allowed to say those things. But when you allowed to say those things, my guy, you have to stand on your words. You have to, like, where's all this? Okay, we know Prime has a lot of bravado. He is who he is. But where's this when Dabo Sweeney is up there talking that trash or bring your own guts and all that extra stuff? Where's all that? Now he's won, he's did all that, but it's like coaches do it. Like it's Prime is not the first coach to beat on his chest for what he's accomplished. He's not the first.
Yeah, Nick Saban did it like 2 or 3 times. Like
I said, it's the difference between attacking what I'm doing on the field and what I'm doing versus my character. My character and what I'm doing and what you feel like I am as a man has nothing to do with the product that I put on the field. And the scary thing about this is, Al, we've talked about this, off the air. This I feel generation and opinion generation, people will take opinions nowadays as facts. So if somebody said, "Oh, I think Deion's a false prophet. He's this. He's not a man."
Somebody's gonna believe it.
Somebody on the internet is gonna run with it and make it a campaign to where everybody's gonna be amen and high five and it's BS. So that I feel and that opinion thing, especially with the internet, becomes when people drive a narrative home so much and everybody starts agreeing and everybody starts throwing their 2 cents in, it becomes more than just an opinion.
And I'm old school. So I understand the man part, I understand the sport part, and I understand the journalism portion of it. Now, you have people that are shock jocks like that and like to say things like that and take personal shots. But, for me, it's kind of like, don't say something to somebody that you wouldn't say to them if it was just you and them in the alley and no cameras and no police protection out there.
with a bad foot and 2 less toes, you don't want to see Prime in or alley.
You don't want to see Prime at any point in time at being Prime, period.
Right.
And if you see this clown, which of course I looked him up, he doesn't look like he played a sport at all, in his life. And those are usually the ones that do that and cross that line and want to do that type stuff. But see, he don't understand. Deion, as positive as he is, and that's the agenda that he's pushing and wants to put out there, Deion is not one for play. Because I knew somebody was going to bring it up back in the day when I think it was it Tim McGarver, the reporter that was blasting Deion on the air because he played the game with the Atlanta Falcons and flew on the helicopter to play the Atlanta Braves playoff game.
Yeah, that was him.
And Deion took 2 huge buckets of water and dumped them on his head after the game. Well, somebody told him what he was saying. I said, "You lucky that's all he did."
Right. You lucky you ain't take it further than that. Because he could have put the hands on it.
Because, Prime got enough money to get out of certain situations. So
Yeah, he got fined for that anyways. But
and not that I'm advocating that, but I'm just saying, there used to be a time where, people used to have to pay the consequences for their actions, good and bad. And I think we've gotten so into this trolling generation and you can't do anything to me and hiding behind computer screens and cell phones and just the way society is now, where you can bait somebody into something and get away with it, even if they do respond. That's why people do that, because they don't fear any consequences anymore.
Right.
America
with these podcasters. There's a lot of podcasters out here.
There's a lot
doing some crazy stuff. I think Kevin Gates had an incident like not too long ago.
There's a lot of pretend podcasters, and we don't have to call nobody out in particular, but there's some in our lane too that are pretenders or trying to use their fame as an athlete or an entertainer to do something that, quite honestly, they're not that good at and probably shouldn't be doing. but everybody picked up a habit during COVID.
Right.
For sure.
But we won't spend much more time. I wish Coach Prime, the best, and he's dealt with hate majority of his life because of the persona and larger than life, and it is what it is. He does bring that attention, both good and bad, whether you love him or hate him. But I respect Prime the man, and I know he's a good man. So, I'm with him.
Good God-fearing man.
You don't have to take that, as he would say, bull jump.
That's a fact.
So, moving on, fellas. How about them Buckeyes opening the season on Saturday? Of course, it's against the Cream Puff, the University of Akron. But there's been a lot of news out of Columbus. Of course, Coach Day did name Will Howard as the starting quarterback. The more surprising, well, it's not a surprise if you've been following. The number one high school recruit in America, Jeremiah Smith, last year, the wide receiver for the Buckeyes, has been named as a starting wide receiver. That is a feat, because you're walking into, let's be honest, the best wide receiver room in the country. It's been that way for quite a few years now with Brian Hartline. Recruits on top of recruits. So that was amazing that Jeremiah Smith has passed a couple people on the depth chart and will be starting out there with Carnell Tate and the rest of the guys. So
I didn't expect him not to be starting, though. I didn't expect it.
I thought at the end of the day his talent would end up pushing him over the top. But, like I said, when you walking into a room where Emeka Egbuka and Carnell Tate are already starters, you got Brandon Ennis behind them and Ballard, there's some dogs in that wide receiver room. And I'm actually leaving a few people out that, haven't really got the burn yet, because, again, when you're playing behind people like Marvin Harrison Jr. in the gang, Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson, I mean, that's a stacked room,
That's a fact. I give you that.
But yeah, Nate, I mean, when you had a number one player recruit in the country, you do expect him to play. But again, this is not the average wide receiver room that we're walking into. So I'm gonna start with Big.
No, I'm not saying it like that. I'm just saying I didn't expect him not to be in the situation he was in. I knew he had the capability of being a starter, though.
Yeah. But then something happened that made me mad. Denzel Burke, starting defensive back for The Ohio State University, just named his Mount Rushmore of Ohio State DBs. Did anybody happen to catch that?
Oh, I see you. Yeah, I knew you was pissed off.
Because it's recency bias. And you know what? And I don't even have a problem necessarily with him trying to put himself on there. I don't think he belongs. But, again, he was a freshman All-American, and then, to be honest, you kind of didn't hear much about him after that. I mean, he's continued to be a starter, all 4 years at Ohio State. But to come up with a list where you say yourself, Sean Wade, Marshawn Lattimore is the only one I didn't necessarily have a problem with. And I can't even remember the fourth guy he said. But I'm like, there's no Mike Dawson here. There's no Jack Tatum. There's no Sean Springs. There's no Antoine Winfield. Like Malcolm Jenkins, you skipping a whole bunch of people.
Well, you got the
African guy. That's who you left out. His name.
We're from a different generation. Everybody's not a student of the game, so he probably go to Ohio State. He's probably heard those names, but some of them kids who are not students of the game, they don't go do their research. They don't go know who is who. They don't pay attention to that. They just see what's in front of them or what came right before them.
That's disrespect. That's like saying you don't know who Archie Griffin is.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. They heard the name,
bro. He might not.
They heard the like. If you
can't be there 4 years, like he is not hear them names. First of all, they're plastered all over the facilities.
Like I said, he's only going off what he's seen in his young adult life and while he was on the field. He's not looking past any of that. Some of these, like I said, it's a lot of kids in this day and age that are not students of the game. They do not know who was before them. They do not know whatever. They just don't know. And even if they know the history, they don't care.
That's even worse.
Right. Yeah.
A lot of these kids ain't educated in football, bro.
Like, bro, have you I'm not even trying to switch lanes. Have you heard like some of the interviews, even with the NBA players, when they saying they top 5 all time? Like some of it don't even make sense.
No, and I don't want to hear it.
And some of it don't even make sense. Like, but that's their opinion. That's who they grew up watching or loving or whatever. But it still don't make no sense.
John, where Chris Gamble at? Where Chris Gamble at? Where Nate Clemens at?
Right. Hey, I'm with you. Hey, that's his list. So, you know.
As Coach Prime would say, that's bullshit.
We ain't gonna worry about dude list no more, man.
That's what, like I said, you know.
The list was terrible. We all know
John, you a football guy, okay?
Yeah.
Regardless of your opinions, you know the type of DBs that came out of Ohio State.
Yeah.
That list is garbage.
And, you know, but like I said, it's like, you know, like you said, the only person you didn't have a problem with was Lattimore. But like I said, the people he named, and he included himself. I mean, as athletes, we are told to feel like that about ourselves and about our game. But it is what it is. The numbers don't lie. It is.
And I don't get into the habit of dissing no Buckeye. So like I said, I respect Denzel Ward for coming back to school. You know, he could have been a first or second day, you know, draft pick, you know, leaving last year. And if he wants to put himself on Mount Rushmore, I guess. I mean, he technically is an All-American. He was a freshman All-American. So, you know, that's one of the qualifications that I put out there. You had to at least be an All-American, make a dent. You know, everybody's not going to win the Jim Thorpe Award, but
right, kind
of just makes me scratch my head when you leave off 2 Jim Thorpe Award winners like Malcolm Jenkins or Antoine Winfield or a Hall of Famer in college and pro like Jack Tatum. Now, I don't expect him to know about Jack Tatum because that's way, you know, past his era.
That's way past his era.
But you got to at least know the 3-time consensus All-American Mike Dawson, you know, Chris Gamble, somebody a little bit ahead of your time.
Right.
You know, Antoine Winfield to me was the greatest 5'9" corner ever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he won the Jim Thorpe Award without recording an interception. Now, you know how cold you got to be to win the best defensive back in the nation.
That's still never been done either.
That's wild.
And not record an interception that season?
Still ain't never been done.
First of all, wasn't nobody throwing over there.
Nope.
But the tackle at 5'9". So, yeah, I educate Brother Denzel some other time, man. I don't care. I want you to have a great senior year, another All-American year yourself, and lock down every wide receiver you face from Oregon to that team up north. And then maybe we will be having this conversation about putting you on the Mount Rushmore of DBs at Ohio State. So we had a few more early topics that I wanted to get into. Changing gears slightly to the NFL. Our beloved Cincinnati Bengals, about a week and a half away from starting the season at this point.
Yep, I'll be down there tailgating that first game.
I was gonna ask you about that, Nate, when we was tailgating. Big John, you need to come down there with us too, have some fun. Chicken George out there.
Yeah, man, I need to do something, man. I've been in the funk, but yeah, that sounds good.
And that's Sister Johnson's birthday weekend, bro.
Yeah, I know. I thought I was gonna make it to one of her events, but yeah, for sure.
Yeah, she got a whole week. I can't do all that. That's too much.
You know that's what the females do. They plan their birthday the whole week.
Speaking of, don't be chickening out. We're going to UC homecoming again.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, Big John will show up this time.
Last time I showed it, it's talking about towing cars, so.
Yeah, you had to leave early. Nah, me and Nate made it down there again. Brother Dewan.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Dog that's in the house.
What's up, bro?
You missed it earlier, man. We shouted y'all out. I am excited.
Definitely did. Congrats, bro, on that first win.
The big win. Got the first one out the way.
Excited for y'all. And, I'll be down there Saturday on the sideline rooting y'all on again. So we were talking about the Bengals and Uno returning to practice, which is good for all parties involved. As you know, he was doing a hold in, wanting a contract extension because basically every wide receiver of noteworthy that was up for a contract extension has gotten it done this offseason. Everything that they said they were waiting on. Okay, we knew Justin Jefferson was going to get the top deal. All right. So the market's been set. There have been guys underneath like a DJ Moore. There are guys right there at the top like CD Lamb that have gotten paid. So Uno is still expecting either between that and or equal to a Justin Jefferson deal.
Mm-hmm.
We know this is going to be done. I forgot the brother's name on ESPN this morning. He made me mad because he called them the cheap and natty Bengals. And I'm like, here we go with these old, outdated, national media quotes that don't apply to today's time. It's not that they're not going to pay Jamar Chase. And anybody who thinks that they aren't, just for lack of a better word, you're an idiot. It's going to get paid. It's just a question of when. Is it going to be when he wants it or we would like to see it? Probably not. They might surprise us and get a deal done in the early part of this year or whatnot, because they've done that before for certain guys like, Chad, Carson, Big Wit, where they've done that. Willie Anderson back in the day, extensions, during the beginning of the year. And he fits that mold of a guy that is a franchise, stalwart and is going to be here. So does anybody have a problem with brother Uno scaling it back and doing what he did as far as the hold in?
No. I mean, they're going to get it done. I don't feel like it's a problem. Like I said, him showing up to practice, showing you that they're going to get it done. So they're probably talking to him. That's why he showed up and, what he did. They're going to get it done. I have a problem with it. Get your money.
Yeah, because the situation that most people don't think about is this is the other side of the coin. If you remember just a couple years ago, Bengals decided, and it was for a combination of reasons, but hey, Jodine, you're not producing at the same level anymore. You want to stay here? Take this pay cut. So a lot of teams, and the Bengals are no different, but a lot of teams are quick to do that when they feel like a guy is underperforming or flat out cut you before your contract is done.
Yeah.
But they're a lot slower. They're a lot slower when the shoe is on the other foot and they say, hey, I've outperformed this contract. Give me my bread.
Right. Oh, yeah.
So you can't be mad at the player.
I hate how that work, man. I hate how it work.
Well, I mean, they're always going to have leverage, though. The team.
Yeah.
And as football finally starts to get up there with more guaranteed money, because that's the thing. That's always been the thing. Like, man, it's too violent of a game for us to guarantee your contract and blah, 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 blah. Salary cap is just now gone up where certain guys are getting that bread. But again, it's still about what you get up front, because your career can be over in any second.
And you may get only one time to get your bread, two if you're lucky.
Yeah.
So
the average career is still 3 or 4 years in there.
And it's like you said, if you are a franchise cornerstone like Chase is, like I said, you get one. You're gonna get one. Two if you lucky, but that's it. And then after that third one, you looking like, you ain't really in your prime no more. Then they try to play that numbers game with you. So, yeah. I mean, get your money while you can, big dog.
Because I could be wrong. I had to look it up what Jamar Chase's salary is this year.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another reason why he wasn't rushing to get back out there. I'm going to look it up real quick. I should have had it prepared already. For 2024 season.
I really think.
Okay.
I appreciate him doing what he's doing because he's protecting himself and protecting his brand.
He is, but here it is, Nate. Officially, Jamar Chase will earn a base salary of $1,055,000 this year.
Oh yeah, he needs some more money.
Yeah, for what he's done, that's BS. But we know that's how it works. You gotta fight out that rookie contract. We know how it works.
Now he's got a roster bonus, due for him being on the roster of $3,807,000 dollars and 679. So okay, I mean, but it's still something that for what he's actually worth, I wouldn't want to risk going out there getting hurt either
Yeah.
for that dollar amount.
Not for
Now,
that.
the average person, they'll look at it and say, "Well, man, look at all that money." Da, da, da. You can't look at it from our everyday Joe Blow perspective, and that's not what's happening here. You know what I mean? It's an investment. So, and really, it's like any other job. Obviously, they want you to do the most work possible for the least amount, and you want to get all you can for your services, attributes, and abilities. Now, the only problem I have is it just seems like when guys hold out, and again, I agree with Uno doing everything that he's doing and getting back in. It just seems like when guys hold out, it always seems like they miss that repetition, and all of a sudden, guys got a hamstring, a calf injury, something. Because I'm old school. I'm from the LeVar Ball school, where you have to prepare your body and train it to do what you're asking it to do. To me, although it's a different sport, I think it's funny that Kawhi Leonard gets hurt now with this load management crap more than he did when he was actually trying to play 82 games in a season.
Blows my mind. I just was talking to somebody
But
about this. Like,
we football players, and even though they don't really train like that no more, you got to build up those calluses and that muscle memory. Like if you don't, you're gonna get hurt. Like it's just a part of the game, and I hate that football doesn't allow them to practice as much as they used to with pads and do this and that. And I know that's due to them trying to save money for their contracts, stay durable, and all that. I get it. But you still have to build up, like I said, those hard calluses, that muscle memory. Because, like I said, a lot of thing with football is not you don't think on the field, you react. If you thinking, you losing because stuff happens in a split second. So you have to build up that muscle memory, man. That's just a part of the game.
I remember a time with Coach Wirtz, excuse me, and he used to brag about it. You remember, John? There was a time when we used to hit every day.
Yeah.
Now we probably shouldn't have been.
Mm-hmm.
And I was glad when Conwell got there and kind of, regulated that and was doing what he was supposed to do. But still, I do think there was some credence to, like you said, preparing your body to do what you're asking it to do and building up those calluses.
Prepare for that contact.
Yeah. Like, how else do you get used to it? Like, you can't not hit and then go out there and start performing a collision sport, crashing bodies, and think that your body is going to hold up to that.
Yeah. Being a lineman, bro, from 5 to playing football in college, the worst thing I've had was a sprained ankle. Now, I probably when I get older, gonna have a whole bunch of stuff wrong with me that I don't know where it's coming from. But I've been blessed not to have any serious injuries. And that's due to how we was trained, lifting weights, being able to have that contact in practice and in games. So it helped.
Well, being a skill position guy, I got more than my fair share of bumps and bruises even with that. But, I certainly do believe in you practice like you play and getting your body ready to do what you're asking it to do. So with that said, though, we kind of talked about this a little bit last episode, Nate. You weren't with us. So it's never too early to do your way too early Super Bowl favorite, picks this year. So we'll start and go around the clock and see who everybody's got. If you had to pick today or you had to put some money on it, who would be your Super Bowl picks?
Where I'm from.
He said Cincinnati in the AFC. Okay.
I feel like I'm gonna say it like this. It ain't gonna be easy. This will probably be our tunnel year. When I say tunnel year, we go run into this tunnel and it's gonna be what's that drill where you gotta run through the dummies?
Mm-hmm.
This will be that year we run through everything.
The gauntlet.
We're gonna have to.
Yeah, you're gonna have to with this year with the AFC. Yeah. You thought it was bad last year when everybody was building up. I think it's gonna be worse this year.
I think it is.
So who you got in the NFC, Nate?
This is gonna be a surprise pick. I'm going with the Green Bay Packers. They got one of the toughest defense in the league. My second choice was Detroit, but I'm going with Green Bay because I feel like their offense is a little more potent than Detroit's.
Green Bay been getting some love this year. Now they got some bad news this morning with running back AJ Dillon out for the year.
He's gone for the year. Yeah,
neck injury.
Was it? It was a neck injury. It was a neck injury.
Yeah.
Man.
They did sign Josh Jacobs during the offseason, though.
They did. I was about to say, well, we're gonna have to put the load on him.
Pause.
Which I don't think that's pause. Yeah. Which I don't think.
Pause.
Which I don't think is a downslide either.
No, Josh Jacobs is reliable, and he's obviously a threat out of the backfield and as a receiver out of the backfield too. But you do want to have some depth, especially in today's time, because again,
I forgot they lost Jones. Damn.
And but like Dillon is just that changes down back. Now we know Jacobs is an every down back, which he can be, but Dillon is still that power back that you need. Just like when they had Jones, it was kind of lightning and thunder type deal. So you need to change your pace, so it helps.
So Big John, AFC.
Houston is scary, bro. Houston is scary. It's not even because of what they added. They were scary before what they added. So if they can assimilate Diggs and they can assimilate Jodine and the defense come out and play, and if Stroud have another year like he did, they're not gonna sneak up on nobody no more.
No,
but I feel like
they're not no sneaker.
They're capable. They don't have to do that. So I'm gonna say Houston. And like I said, I would say the 49ers again, but they having too much trouble with contracts in here right now. Mm-hmm. So I'm not gonna say 49ers. I'm gonna say the Lions, man. I'm gonna say the Lions. I feel like I'm not Tampa Bay. Green Bay may be ready, but they got to beat the Lions in their own division. So it's like, I don't know. We're gonna see what Jordan Love gonna do. Like I still have more faith in the team they put around golf versus just Jordan Love. But we're gonna see.
Nate, I keep forgetting where CJ Stroud went to school at. Maybe you can help me out, man.
Yeah, Hold on. Ohio State University.
Well, my man Gus Johnson, he said, the world famous. Okay.
Let's say the Texans and the Lions, man.
I'm trying not to be a homer because there are some questions that the Cincinnati Bengals have.
Yeah.
The Bills took a back step, losing Stephon Diggs, like you said. The Texans and the Lions are not who I'm choosing, but they are what they call sexy picks going into this year. But they're also two organizations where you want to see them do it back to back because it's like not to call.
They've been that bottom of the barrel.
Not to call last year a fluke for either one, but it's like y'all don't exactly have a history for me to be like, yeah, all in 2 years in a row.
Right.
So in the AFC, I am going to choose the Cincinnati Bengals. If it happens, great. We can come back to this moment. But I'm going to choose the Cincinnati Bengals. And in the NFC, I don't know why I'm doing this. I really don't. But for some reason, I just got a gut feeling that this is the year for how about them Cowboys?
Yeah. But it's like
they get Diggs back on defense, which is going to be huge, provided he's up to par and still playing at the same level. They still have my cousin who I've never met, Micah Parsons, out there. CeeDee Lamb is happy now that he got his new deal.
He got his money. He should be happy.
Let's see, man. I would love to see a Bengals Cowboys Super Bowl, man.
Yeah, I mean, I would. I'm pretty sure Pops would too, but I don't know, man. It's crazy. And it's like you said, with certain teams, you don't want to be homers, but it's like I kind of want to see the Eagles get over the hump, but it's like they've been having so many problems, man. I don't know.
Now I'm only a Bengals fan, but the only other team that I tip my cap to and wish well has always been the Philadelphia Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But
I want to see Saquon Barkley have a great career with them.
They won in 2017, so they don't have that sympathy vote for me no more because they actually have a Lombardi trophy now.
Yeah, ain't no sympathy in Philly no more.
Yeah, I'm not asking for sympathy. Like, I feel like they got the players to actually do it, but it's like that breakdown and meltdown they had at the end of the year. I'm like, what's going on? Like,
well, I talked to Cincinnati Bearcats and New York City legend Kenny Satterfield, who is
what's up, Kenny?
What up, Sat? Who is a huge Eagles fan for people that don't know, even out of NYC.
Right.
He was not that thrilled at the pickup of Saquon Barkley. Now, not
really
from a talent, standpoint. No, he feels the same way I do. Like, you don't start 10-1 and have that collapse, a year after going to Super Bowl. Like, there's something going on in that locker room. Now, we'll never know if that's been straightened out or not, but that's what I equate it to. What else could it be?
I don't think they have the faith in Jalen Hurts. I really don't think that. I think that's really what it truly is. I think they don't have the faith.
Hold on. I agree with you, Nate, but I don't think the team doesn't. I think the coach doesn't, because the team actually loves Hurts. I don't feel like this coach is a fan of Hurts.
No, I don't either. I agree. I was getting ready to go there.
I ain't even gonna go that far and say the coach isn't, but I do know that there's been reports that there were people within the organization in the front office who weren't all in on Jalen Hurts.
They were upset about that deal,
and him getting.
They were upset about the deal.
There were enough people, because it kind of stuff doesn't float out of front offices in the NFL unless they want it to. They're usually tight-lipped about a lot of stuff. There were enough people in that office that was like, I don't know, and made it very apparent that that's how they felt. Like, I don't know. A lot of them thought they overreacted off that Super Bowl run, getting to the Super Bowl. I don't think they overreacted. I think Jalen Hurts deserved his money. I didn't think it was a berserk contract.
But how is it an overreaction when he did make it to the Super Bowl, and then the next following year they run off 11 more?
Because people can always say, and your boy Warren Sapp was one of them when he called Cam Newton a glorified running back.
Right.
Anybody can catch lightning in a bottle that 1 year, basically, is what some people would say. You've had people, and not that I'm comparing Jalen Hurts to him, because I do think he's better than every quarterback I'm about to name, but you have had Trent Dilfers and Jeff Hostetler's win Super Bowls. Now, granted, that was a long time ago, and players a lot different.
That Trent Hasselback got one.
Does Hasselback have one?
Yeah, he got one in Seattle with Sean Alexander.
They lost to Pittsburgh.
I'm sorry. They lost to Pittsburgh. My bad.
Yeah.
The bus got him. Yeah, that's my fault.
I don't disagree with it, but I'm saying there's enough people within the organization, and who knows? We don't know. There might be a few guys on the team that's like, because I did see a couple of incidents, arguments on the sideline with, AJ Brown, out there last year. Now, I know that happens between, receiver and quarterback, if you're not on the same page on a certain drive or game, or I didn't get the ball enough, this game. But, like I said, when you start 10-1 and all of a sudden that stuff starts to creep out, you have to at least wonder.
Yeah.
There's concerns behind it.
Hopefully they got it fixed, because then you got instances where, what's the other receiver? I'm having a brain fart right now, number 6, where he takes a pay cut to be there.
Yeah. Why am I forgetting his name?
The Heisman Trophy winner. I just have a brain fart right now.
No, and he cold too.
Yeah. So he actually took a pay cut to be there. Now I know, because AJ Brown got his money. And, he could have stayed, and Devontae Smith. Sorry, Jesus.
Yes.
I have a brain fart. My bad.
Having that brain
I don't know why. You one of my favorite receivers in the league. I don't even know why I forgot.
Yeah.
But he took a pay cut to be there, and people was like, "Why would you take a pay cut? You deserve this." He was like, "Bro, stop pocket watching me. I'm good. I want to be where I'm at." Like, so we don't know if it's panic in Philadelphia or they just had a rough year. Like, and I know a lot of the veteran guys, like Kelsey, wanted to get one before he got up out of here, wanted to get another one before he got up out of here, and I could even see the frustration on his face the last couple games. Because I ain't never seen Kelsey go off on Hurts, but like one play, I think Hurts was trying to call an audible, and then Kelsey looked at him like, "Nah, bro, we ain't doing that. Like, chill." Like, and I ain't never seen him do that.
That's bad when your center telling you to chill.
Because he probably seen something that Hurts wasn't paying attention to, and which is perfectly fine on the football field because your center is your lineman general. You want him to see it, so that's fine. But it's like that blow up, you hadn't seen that from him, especially a leader like Kelsey was. You didn't really see that. But like I said, with Smith taking a pay cut and then AJ Brown, coming out to defend this guy, I don't really think it's that. Hopefully they got whatever they got, in house, and hopefully they get it together. But we're gonna see. We're gonna see.
Yeah. Well, I think it's gonna be an exciting year in college and pro. But what I also can't wait for in college is for this 12-team playoff, because I'm gonna be laughing in the face of a lot of people who think that this 12-team playoff is gonna give an opportunity for the little guy to sneak in, and that's not what's gonna happen.
Oh, it won't. But
now you might get one or two teams that you normally wouldn't have got, but it's still gonna be those heavy hitters.
But here's the thing, and this is what you're saying is right. I don't feel like it's gonna let the little guy in still, but some of those big dogs gonna get knocked off. Like some of them big dogs okay. Let's for instance, say Georgia gets somebody, and I'm just spitballing. It can be an Oregon team. It could be a Texas team or LSU team that just come out of nowhere and they knock them off.
What about if Toledo gets in from the MAC?
They're not gonna get in. They're not even gonna go undefeated in the MAC. So that's not gonna happen.
You know what's gonna happen, and I'm gonna just take away the suspense for a lot of people right now. What's gonna happen is you're gonna have a lot of teams from the SEC, and you have a lot of teams from the Big Ten. Right. And everybody else is gonna be fighting and clawing for them last few spots.
May get a Big 12 in there.
It may not be a little guy that does.
May get an ACC team in there.
It's not. It may not be a little guy that does a disruption, but just like the year where TCU beat Michigan, that's gonna happen. Like that's gonna happen to where they're gonna catch a bad one. Somebody's gonna get knocked off.
How often is that gonna happen though?
I'm not with football.
Because
that happened. Okay,
I don't know. With
hold on. With football, listen.
Because as much as I hate to admit it, that team up north came back and won the national championship the next.
That's the next year, but we ain't talk about the next year. We talk about that year when they were supposed to.
If they took TCU seriously, that would have happened that year.
Whose fault is that? But like I said, in football, that happens a lot. It don't really happen in the national championship or 14 playoffs because it's not that many opportunities.
It happens a lot in March Madness. I don't think it happens.
It happens a lot during the football season. What the point I'm trying to make is it's not going to happen in a 14 playoff or a 2-team national championship. What I'm saying is if a 8th seed Oregon plays a 1 seed Georgia and Oregon is playing ball, they can beat them. Oregon has dropped. I mean, Georgia lost to Alabama. We know that's a kind of a rivalry game, but Alabama was not as good as they were in previous years. They should not have beat Georgia, and it took them a Hail Mary play in a corner of the end zone to win the game. That's what I'm saying. That's going to happen in a 12-game playoff. That may not happen in a 4-game playoff. They may not happen in a 14 playoff, but it's going to happen.
Also, what you're going to have now is you're going to have at least first or second round matchups being played on college campuses instead of neutral sites.
Right.
So while what you're saying may be true, if Alabama or somebody has to come play the Ohio State University or that team up north, or let's say a Penn State in Happy Valley, I'm taking them in December and January until further notice.
I hear you. But we done seen
I
State get popped.
see a sneaky somewhere, but I just don't know what team.
It's gonna happen. Like I said, it may not be a Tulsa beating a Georgia or Alabama. I'm not saying that, but it's gonna be a Tennessee or somebody's gonna beat one of the big dogs. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Well, we know Tennessee is a historical power now. They're trying to get back to that. Which, by the way, I think are right behind Ohio State at number 2 or number 3 in the nation as far as recruiting class in 2025. Now, remember, I kept saying that. I said when Nick Saban retired, I said the traditional SEC powers are going to come back, or I should say the ones from our childhood,
right?
Are going to come
say
back.
That.
We just seen it.
I give you
we
that.
just seen it last week. Now I'm saying this because I know my team lost to them too, but we gave them the game. We should have just kneeled. Well, we just seen it the first week with Florida State losing to Georgia Tech. There's no way that should have happened. So you mean to tell me if another team like that who plays gets in a 12-team playoff where they have 6 teams on each side, somebody's gonna have an upset. It's gonna happen. Football happens more often than not.
So with that said, and a more level playing field and 12 teams being in the college football playoff, I want you gentlemen to tell me who your pick for the 2 teams that you think will end up being in the national championship this year.
Go shock you. Mine will shock you.
Honestly, I'm gonna just say one, and it hates me to say this, but it's gonna be y'all. It don't even matter who's gonna be on the other side. Like, y'all have the talent now. Unless Ryan Day just comes out and lays an egg, it should be y'all. Because like I said, we know Georgia's gonna reload. We don't know how in depth they're gonna reload, but they're gonna reload. So you can say them, you can toss that out. Will it be an Old State in Georgia? But I feel like Georgia's gonna drop one. They're gonna drop.
I feel the same way.
Georgia may drop two.
Yeah.
And still get in the 12-team playoff. But if they drop 2, I don't know. I know Kirby Smart always had them boys ready, but I'm gonna say it may be Georgia and Ohio State, but I know Ohio State gonna be there for sure.
You know who's gonna be my shocker?
Who?
Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I think Freeman got something going on over there.
Yeah, he do.
I definitely think Freeman got something going on over there. I'm with Big John. I agree. Ohio State will probably be down, be there at the end.
If it's Ohio State Notre Dame, I'm not watching it.
Why not? Don't do that.
I'm not watching it.
Don't do that, Jonathan. Don't you do that.
I'm gonna watch it because I love football, but I'm not gonna enjoy it. But go ahead.
But yeah, I feel like Freeman's got something going on. Got a lot of talent on that Notre Dame team, man.
He does. He definitely does.
And it's been getting ignored for real. I'm not. You know who I'm not confident in? I'm not confident in Oregon.
No.
A lot of people, they think that Oregon's gonna fit right into the Big Ten and have no problem. And I'm like,
no, I think they're gonna get washed.
But the only thing I will say is this Oregon team is a little bit more physical than they have been in previous years.
A little bit.
But that's because they had to. They went Big Ten.
But no, even before they got to the Big Ten, these past couple Oregon teams have really been, physical. They had to be because they had to keep up. So they had to be. They kept getting into, bowl games or championship games and then getting beat up by either Big Ten teams or SEC teams. So they had to.
I think Tennessee is about a year or 2 away from being the Tennessee that we grew up watching. They're definitely getting the recruits back, and they are paying.
They got quite a few recruits that came this year.
But their payroll for that NIL. The Tennessee been dipping into that Fort Knox fund.
Hey.
Yeah. But honestly, I think this is gonna shock people. I'm gonna pick Ohio State versus Texas in the national championship.
That ain't bad.
That's not shocking. I mean, Texas actually played
good
last year.
Starters last year.
Injuries killed Texas last year.
Yeah, I can see that.
Injuries killed Texas last year.
But I could also see an all Big Ten scenario too, because what I think having a 12-team playoff is going to do this year is it's going to let a team like Penn State in that normally just misses and will give James Franklin an opportunity to show what a good coach is. I think he gets a bad rap, man. I really do.
Well, it's the reason why he's still there. They know he's a good coach.
He's done great. You know, he just hasn't been able to beat Ohio State. But again, other than, you know, Michigan and Clemson a couple times and Alabama, it's not a whole bunch of teams that can make that claim that they've been able to do it either. So the other thing I asked you guys to talk about, dipping away from sports, you know, there's been a lot of what people want to call battle rap now with, you know, Kendrick and Drake going back and forth. But we came from the real diss track, you know, era and battle rap and so forth. So if you have to edit it. But I still want you guys to tell me what your favorite diss bar verse is, or it can just be the song. I don't care whether it's Hit 'Em Up, 300 bars, The Bridge Is Over, Take Over, Ether, whatever it is. I want to know, and I want to know what your favorite bar or verse was of somebody. This is somebody.
That's hey, it's a lot. There's a lot of good music, man.
It's a lot, but I want to know when you think of a diss track or verse, what's the first rhyme that comes to your head?
I want to say, man, and I know Hov get a lot of flack because the Ether song was nice, but if you go back and listen to it,
he gonna say Take Over.
No.
I was just
hold on. Listen.
Take over. If you breaks over.
Hold on.
See
that it's a line I'm going to say from Takeover, but if you go back and listen to the Blueprint 2,
what's that one verse?
That intro was probably more crazy than Takeover. When he broke down his whole career, he like, one was the other was Illmatic. That's 2 high albums every 10-year average. No, he broke down his whole career.
Yeah, that's bad.
Like,
that was pretty bad.
And I'm
was through.
Right.
One was the other was Illmatic.
It was crazy. So when you think about it, and nobody ever said he was not telling the truth when he said that.
Nah, he wasn't lying.
He made Nas come back and make Stillmatic. He forced Nas to come out and make another classic. He forced him to come out and make Stillmatic.
What he say? I know you ain't talking about me. You
right. But here's the thing. Ether was live because of the beat. And Nas was saying some stuff, but it was more so of a cap session with Ether.
I get it. You're
Jay-Z was breaking him down.
Yeah, that was a breakdown. Jay-Z
in the Blueprint 2 and Takeover, Hov was breaking him down. It was lyrical. Like Nas was cracking jokes. Like Jay-Z was going for
Blueprint 2.
It was Blueprint. It was on Blueprint.
No, I'm talking about.
He talking about the next one.
The song Blueprint 2.
The song Blueprint 2. The next dick track.
Okay.
When he said, "Can't y'all see that he's fake? The rap version of TDJ prophesizes all your CDs and tapes. From off the little bit that he makes."
No, like Nas went at like we and like I said, I'm not taking nothing. Like Ether is probably one of the best diss songs ever. I'm not taking away nothing from it. But if you look at what Jay-Z was saying and what Nas was saying, like Jay-Z was swinging for tears. He wasn't playing. Like Nas was cracking jokes.
He was swinging for the fences. He was already
to the people that don't know you.
Right. Jay-Z was swinging for tears. Jay-Z was trying to like embarrass Nas. Like Nas was cracking jokes and making fun of him and the wine shirts and all that.
Childish. I'm grown.
Right.
Please don't throw rocks at the throne.
Don't bark up this tree.
This
tree will
fall on you.
Like
I don't know why your advisors didn't forewarn you.
And because we were kids and because we wanted something live from Nas, since we hadn't got it in years, we got Ether. We ran with it. But if you look at it bar for bar, it's not. It's to me, it's not.
You know, Nate gonna say Project Pat.
I'm actually gonna say 50 Cent, Mini Man.
Oh yeah. No.
I thought you was gonna say back down.
Yeah, back down probably would have been better. But yeah.
Jeffrey Atkins.
Yeah, that was rude.
Yeah, that was rude. I forgot. I totally forgot about back down.
Right.
That's my fault. Yeah. Back down was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, back down. It's like you a Pop-Tart, soft in the middle. I eat you.
That's sick. Like I still think about that song. I'm like, how you just go start the song like this though?
Well, you know me. You know I'm. Hip hop, hardcore for that.
You going no Vaseline, ain't you?
You know what? I thought about it. It made my final cut, but no, I'm not. But for Cube to rip through all of NWA.
Oh yeah, that's disrespectful. And you saw, and you know, me and you both saw Straight Outta Compton with Yellow. Was like, bro, that's it hard. Like I ain't agree with y'all. Fuck with y'all talking about it's hard.
You can't get mad that your boy put out some bars. You can't get mad at it.
Right.
Hey, y'all know me. Big is always gonna be my favorite rapper, but I use Hit 'Em Up. I'm dysfunctional. I use Hit 'Em Up for bad days. I've used it for breakups with, relationships. Like that's my go-to when I have a bad day is to throw Hit 'Em Up off. But no, I think the most disrespectful, and it was one line, the whole beef between Cannabis and LL Cool J.
I was thinking about that too.
When Cannabis said 99% of his fans are females, and L, who is a hardcore battle rapper, came back and said 99% of his fans don't exist.
Right.
That's a pure eat up.
Right.
And just shutting down. Can I bust? that song was very underrated when he came back with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. But how do y'all feel about this new era of supposed rap? You got Drake using AI trying to use Tupac and Snoop's voice and stuff, but then again, when you don't write your own rhymes, I don't expect nothing.
You don't expect anything less.
So
I get what they trying to do, but like you said, we grew up in a different era. Like now, it's still bars if you listen to it, but it's more artsy than anything. Like they want to be so different and rap different. Like sometimes you got to just get to it. Like I'm all for the subliminals and all that, but sometimes you got to just get to it. Like, and I
just
feel like
to it. Sometimes just getting to it is lost.
And I feel like Kendrick did that somewhat, but I felt like Kendrick was actually more straightforward when he did the BET cipher. You knew who he was talking about. Everybody knew who he was talking about, but he got to it, and that's what we used to doing. Like now, it's like the only person that actually still get to it like that, and he backed out, and I was so mad that he did it. Is Cole.
J. Cole.
Oh, Cole don't pull no punches. Like Cole gonna get to it
because J. Cole still values being able to ride his bike to the supermarket.
Yeah,
right.
And nobody bothering him.
But like I said, like we see what Cole was capable of, and even if you go to the False Prophet songs, you knew who he was talking about. Now, are those people ever gonna respond? Probably not. One was his homie in Wale, the other one was Kanye, and the other guy he was talking about was the guy that signed him. Now, do he want that problem with the guy that signed him? I don't think he does. But that's who he was talking about. But he get to it. But I wish he wouldn't have backed out of it. I was very disappointed.
Speaking of that, and sometimes taking that step out there, I asked you guys who your favorite villains were, not just in sports, movies, and music. So we're gonna stick with music right now, and it could be a rapper, it could be a producer, it could be an executive. But who is your favorite villain in hip hop?
KRS-One.
Villain?
Some people view him as a villain.
Yeah, I've seen him as a villain.
I've never heard him as a villain. Maybe I don't know.
I've heard it. It's not often, but there's a lot of people that feels like he feels like he's too dope himself, and like he invented hip hop or the rules to hip hop.
Yeah,
like
that's what I was just getting ready to say. Like
that's why they kind of
the reason. He feel like he the reason hip hop is where it's at right now. Like, nah, bro, you can't get out of this.
Like, you a part of it, but you're not
part of it. You part of the culture.
But so I will say this though, like straight lyrically, KRS is one of them that I feel like will rip anybody though. Like,
yeah, for sure. I don't disagree with that.
Even right now.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
It's certain guys just like in sports that could rap in any era and it wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, but the thing is, he's too much of I'm not getting my cred, so I'm gonna shoot everybody. I'm gonna shoot at everybody. That's how he gets. He said, I'm gonna be the shooter, and then I'm gonna talk philosophical after I'm done doing it. Like, bro, this ain't how that work, bro.
My Philosophy is still one of the coldest rap records ever, though. Just period. So, Big John, who is your favorite villain?
And you know what's crazy? He's not in that mode no more. But I think
50.
And I think one of the reasons why, and this is gonna sound real awful, real crazy. And Al, when I say this, you may know who I'm talking about. I think one of the reasons why this person reached out to Tekashi 6ix9ine is because he was on the same stuff when he was younger. 50.
I knew you was gonna say Curtis Jackson.
Like, bruh. And now we in this trolling generation, we laugh at it and we accept it. But 50 was on bull. Like,
yeah, he was.
When he came out, like, yeah, the whole, Ja thing was one thing, but I don't even talk about that. But it was like 50 had that also, that mentality, like, all right, you mess with this person, I'll mess with you. Even if I mess with you.
50 shortened his own career.
He did.
Making everybody an adversary.
Right. And the crazy part about it is, and the Locks had an interview about, 50 and all that stuff too. He was like, bro, when 50 started attacking us, we was like, where'd this come from? He said, you literally shouted us out on your first album. All the other hard, they come from y'all. Because y'all actually, you shouted me out.
Artists from New York.
Yeah.
He was bonkers.
Right. So it's like, yo, you shouted us out. But now that I make a song with Ja Rule, now we ain't cool no more. Like, like I said, 50 was a menace. Like, and to the point where he was telling Banks and Game and all these people, well, you can't make songs with them.
Yeah.
Don't do
I remember Yayo was talking about that, where he was like, bruh, it's like every day you wake up or you walk into the studio, it's like, oh, we beefing with this person or be with that person. It's like, bruh.
Like, pretty much 50.
Yayo said, like, I just want to go home and rest.
Like, 50 at that time, man, made the rap game like WWE. Everybody was at everybody.
Yeah.
It was a Royal Rumble.
He was Stone Cold Steve Austin.
It was Royal Rumble. Everybody, like, and
I don't care.
And it actually gave us bars, like, because the Locks jumped into it, everybody jumped into it. Rockefeller jumped into it. Everybody was on it. So it was like,
Well, I thought about a few different people. I could definitely say my favorite producer / mogul all time now, but he wasn't always a villain to everybody like he is now. There were a few people that came to mind, but honestly, mine is more of a producer and a mogul than villain on the rap side.
Metro Boomin. I'm just kidding.
Nah. Suge Knight.
That's what I was gonna say. Other than 50 was Suge.
To be is still to this day the ultimate villain. And I almost said Dame Dash though, to be honest. But there's still people that mess with Dame. There's not a whole lot of people, and this is a tough subject for me with the whole Bad Boy Death Row thing. But Suge was gangster. You can't take that away from him. And he was a smart businessman on top of it. Now, was he over the top? Very much so. And if you hear some of the stories and know what went on, but Suge is definitely to me the greatest villain in hip hop, because mostly everything he did was by force.
Yeah.
There wasn't a whole lot of subtlety to his game.
Right, didn't rap not one lyric, at all.
No, but
he was quick to react or be a killer.
People cleared out like Suge coming.
Right.
Yep.
First of all, I always get weak at that, and I know it's nothing to laugh at back then. That story with Snoop talking about he went to sleep with the coat over his face on the plane with the 2 knives. Like, bruh. Yeah. That's
bad. That's bad. When you got everybody fearing you in the industry, is really bad.
That was well, yeah. I mean, especially when your own artists,
Yeah.
fear you. But see, that was them leaving New York and Snoop fresh off the radio. When Angie Martinez kind of set him up,
Yeah, she did. She definitely did.
Yeah, well, what's your opinion on Big and Puff? Snoop like, bro, they're my homies.
Right.
Pac and Suge heard that.
38 hot. 38 hot.
Your security can't ride on the plane with you.
Yeah, it's over with.
Now what you think that mean?
First of all, you tell me that I ain't riding on the plane with you.
Yeah, I'm gonna just roll with them, player. I see y'all in LA.
I'm Snoop.
Next flight back there.
Right, I'm Snoop. I got enough money to make it. I'm good. You got to come to Long Beach to come get me. Because I'm not going with you.
He a bad man for hopping on that plane like that.
Oh,
though.
yeah. Oh, no, Snoop ain't no sucker either. But I would have did it.
Me neither. I just don't believe in making it easy for you.
Right. Oh, yeah. I'm not. You got to get me, cuz.
Yeah. You got to find me.
Right.
This ain't gonna be no easy. We ain't doing no easy stuff.
Snoop said, "I sat there with the fork in the knife." Like, that's a 4-5 hour flight.
Yeah.
Get to L.A.
Right.
Being on pins and needles like that.
Right.
Can't go to sleep. Can't relax. You just up there.
Yeah, man. So I want to remind the people. It was a light show because I had a lot going on today, as these brothers know. So I wasn't able to promo it the way I want to, but I'll try to put together some teaser clips. As always, we want to remind everybody the audio will be uploaded to Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. So we are everywhere. Sponsors that want to reach out, you can hit and I need to check the IG page because we do have some messages that I have not looked at in a while.
Oh man, what you doing?
I haven't been on there, man. But I need to check them to make sure that we're locked in everywhere we need to be locked in. So we're gonna go ahead and get up out of here. We appreciate Talk to X. We will be back in the studio at least for some episodes starting in September and October. Just to switch some things up. And, it's always better when we meet in person, too. So, again, we want to appreciate Brother Darkness, Dewan, and everybody else who has or will check out this episode. We'll be back on schedule again. See y'all when we see you. We'll try and do it better next time.
Yes, sir.
For sure.